This week on Check Please South Florida, we head to the beach for a relaxed meal in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Right by the beach. Great place to be.
We line up for affordable Southern-style seafood in Pompano Beach.
Those were some of the best shrimp and grits I've ever had.
And prepare to be wowed at this jewel of a find in Lake Worth Beach.
The flavors just danced in your mouth.
Cultural culinary secrets and global flavors. We have a passion for blending ingredients and seasonings from around the world.
Additional funding for Check Please South Florida is provided by George and Helen Weaver and the Friends of South Florida PBS.
I was actually really surprised by how tasty it was.
My mouth is watering just thinking about it.
It was nothing like I've ever had before.
It feels like a taste of Florida.
It was the size of a bathtub.
Hello, I'm Michelle Bernstein, and welcome to Check Please South Florida, the show where regular people from all over South Florida recommend and review their favorite restaurants. So this is how the show works. Every week, we have 3 guests. Each recommends his or her favorite spot, and then the other 2 go to check them out and see what they think. This week, health educator and regional care coordinator Jewell Bistro lets us in on her neighborhood secret for seafood in Pompano Beach. Whether you go for breakfast or lunch, she says the aromas will lure you in, but the heaping portions of food and Southern hospitality will keep you coming back. And VP of Marketing Colin Shallow is here to promote his go-to Palm Beach County Bistro for organic seasonal fare, prepared to perfection. He says the experience is quirky, offbeat, and fun, but the owners are serious about providing diners a memorable night out. But first, food service director Danielle Diaz is serving up a beachside bistro as his choice for freshly made food in earshot of the ocean. He says the lively vibe and the on-point service makes it a great spot to meet up with friends and family for a relaxed, laid-back meal and good conversation. It's in Lauderdale by the Sea, and it's called 101 Ocean.
My name is Anthony D'Elia. I am the general manager of 101 Ocean. Being on the beach and in Florida, we wanted to be open air, inside, outside dining. We have a very wide selection of food. We don't have to go after any particular demographic. So we do offer salads, sandwiches, seafood, pastas. 101 is a happy, fun, casual place with great food, great drinks, and great employees.
So this is a really busy spot in a great neighborhood.
What's unique when you come in, you see to the left, you'll see a seating area.
Okay.
Very quiet, very subdued, people talking. To the right would be the bar. Outside you have that cafe. They also have a pizzeria on the far end also. One of my favorite things about 101 is it's the only place in that area where you could sit down and have a quiet conversation. You could people watch.
So what did you eat this last time you went?
I had the shrimp and grits with the andouille sauce and andouille sausage. It's delicious. The shrimp were grilled.
Okay.
The grits I loved. They were cheesy grits. They were served in a square.
So it was a crispy on the outside, creamy on the inside grit?
Yes.
Okay, that's
delicious.
delicious.
Doris, my partner, she had the plantain crusted grouper. And then they put it over a bed of like sweet potatoes.
Okay.
And then the coconut sauce over it. Delicious.
That sounds delicious. Well, Jewell, you seem to enjoy the stroll from the parking lot.
I liked all the people that were out. It just felt really comfortable. And it was a nice breezy night. I was greeted immediately, and it was very nice, a very nice environment. It was a party of 5 for us. So I tried the crispy duck. It was 2-legged at thigh part. And it looked like it was almost air fried. But I preferred actually the asparagus and the mashed potatoes. The party that was with me, they had mussels, they had wings with mango habanero, which is really interesting. It was really spicy.
Were they fried or grilled wings?
You know, they looked more grilled.
Okay.
The sauce was just covering, so it's hard to tell, and there was no coating on it, so that was good.
Colin?
So I really loved this place. It really surprised me how much I liked it because it's in such a great area and it's filled with tourists and locals alike. So I've just become accustomed to those places being kind of mediocre a lot of time. You know,
More
restaurants in the
touristy.
yeah. You know, they really added some unique elements that I appreciated, and I thought the food was really good. We got some oysters.
Okay.
And I'd never heard of getting oysters in a white wine garlic sauce. You could get them raw or in that, and I was
Oh,
like,
so they cook the oysters
yeah,
for you
everything in
too.
the raw bar, clams, oysters, mussels, you can
also-
get 2 ways, raw
How
or in.
smart. That's
And the
actually
sauce
great.
was delicious. I was drinking it out of the shell.
Out
It
of
was
the
really
shell.
good. Yeah.
That's great.
And then I got the lobster mac and cheese on our
Okay.
server's recommendation, which is another one that always sounds better than it is. I find
yeah.
this was good. This
Okay.
lived up to it, and it had sun-dried tomatoes in it. It had lobster chunks throughout, and broiled or grilled lobster tail on top.
Wow.
And my wife had the Greek salad,
Mm-hmm.
and it was huge and fresh and loads of feta.
I had the beet salad. The beet salad was wonderful. It was cheese, the greenery like spinach, and then of course it was yellow beets. So it was
Which
really
have a
good.
very different flavor, not as sweet as a red beet. More like, you know, the ground, the earth.
It was
I find.
good, really good.
You had to wait a little while. Is that true?
15 minutes, but
Okay,
as
that's not
Jewell
bad.
was saying, it's such a great neighborhood, and it's, I mean, literally steps from the beach.
Jewell, tell me a little bit about the service.
The service was great. The waitress came out with the menus like within seconds. Very knowledgeable of the menu, which is great.
Because it's
I
an
like to see
extensive
that.
menu.
It's very extensive,
Yeah.
so yes.
I would think it would be really hard to pick.
You're
Yeah.
right. We did spend a lot of time about choosing which entrees, which appetizer. We were pretty much full, so the portion size were pretty good. So
That's great.
Not
Any
bad.
drinks, cocktails, wines, anybody?
I think I had a Florida sunrise, mango vodka type of thing.
Okay. That sounds
Really
yummy.
good.
We were talking about the extensiveness of the food menu, but I was really surprised also by the beer menu. They had like 40 to 50 beers, I
Wow.
would say.
Page.
And there are a lot of local beers.
I was going to ask you if they had
I
a lot
had
of
one
local
from
beers.
Miami. It was lovely. It was like an orange IPA. I also had a Hefeweizen from Hollywood. I'd never had these, and they were great. I really appreciate when places down here really own the South Floridian
too.
thing. So.
one of the friends that joined me got real excited when she saw the beer menu. She said, "Oh my gosh, they have this." She was quite surprised by it.
Well, Daniel, 101 was your pick. Sum it up for us, please.
From little snacks to main meals, different kinds of drinks, and right by the beach.
Jewell?
If you want to bring your out-of-town guests, you know, a nice walk and, you know, good service, go to 101 Ocean.
Colin?
It will surprise you how good it is, how generous it is, and I think how fairly priced it is given what you get.
Well, you can wander on over to 101 Ocean, located at 101 East Commercial Boulevard, open daily for lunch and dinner and for brunch on the weekend. Reservations are not accepted on the weekends, and the average price for dinner without drinks is about $45. Now health educator Jewell Bistro brings us a spot for healthy portions of Southern-style seafood. She says locals line up for the made-to-order breakfast and lunch specials dished up by friendly folks who are truly invested in their community. Her pick is in Pompano Beach, and it's called Bojo Seafood Kitchen.
My name is Brandon Smith, and I am the owner of Bojo Seafood Kitchen. My father owned a restaurant for 27 years in the Pompano Beach, and once he retired, I went to college, and after college, I decided to reopen the family business. My father's restaurant was Lumbo's. They called him Lumbo, and my mother's name was Betty Joe. So I put Bo and Joe together and created Bojo's. Some of our most popular dishes are the shrimp and grit bowl, salmon patties is very popular. One thing I could say is that we take our time and we cook it with love. We don't throw it together. We actually care about how it comes out. It's just home cooking. It's just like you would cook at home. Bojo Seafood Kitchen is legacy, family-oriented, and exciting.
I am so excited to talk about this little restaurant. What is drawing the lines and lines of crowds?
I remember their family, their parents owned a restaurant called Lumbo's. And as a child,
I knew Lumbo's.
Yeah, my parents would bring fish home from Lumbo's. So I was super excited that they opened the restaurant, several years ago. And every weekend, honestly, I would go there to get fried snapper.
Now it's all pretty no frills, right? Fried snapper is just fried snapper, right?
Fried snapper, exactly. So I guess this time that I went, I wanted to try their breakfast. And I tried the salmon patty with cheesy grits and scrambled eggs, nice and fluffy. It was very good. Very good portion sizes as well.
Was that your first breakfast ever?
That was my first breakfast there.
And I love that they still have fish and seafood on the menu.
On the menu.
Colin, is this your first venture into that part of town?
I'm so glad we got a chance to go there. I loved this place.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
wonderful.
No frills, simple. What we got was Southern cooking, and I'm not a seafood in the morning person, but those were some of the best shrimp and grits I've ever had. It's just buttery in the best way.
Right.
So are the shrimp fried, sautéed?
I think they're grilled.
Grilled? Okay.
Huge pile of them, and we had leftovers.
Yeah.
What else did you all try?
So I didn't even order the shrimp and grits. That was my wife's dish, and she just gave me a lot of it, as she often does. But I actually got the corned beef hash bowl on the woman at the register's recommendation. She recommended those too. I don't even think we looked at the menu. It was maybe yay big, but very filling, and it was like $4 or something ridiculous like that.
Were there eggs on it?
It was a layer of cheesy grits, a layer of scrambled eggs, a layer of freshly made corned beef hash, which
that sounds so good.
Is a fave, yeah.
That was my daddy's favorite.
No complaints, and I was very full.
I bet, I bet. So tell me a little bit about the neighborhood.
There's a community center across the street. Was very nice. There's some new apartments next to it. It looks like a pretty newly built building.
Daniel, this isn't too far away from your hood, right?
I passed there all the time. I never really saw it, but I'm glad I found it now. They're very busy, and I figured, let me try to shoot in around 11, before lunch. Well, they were busy. They got a nice parking lot, big parking lot. You go in, you order. I had the shrimp and grits, a bowl, and the salmon and grits bowl to try the two. Inside, all the tables were taken, but they have a lovely outside
patio.
It's like a covered patio type thing with the fans and all. And then behind that, there's a huge park. I'm sure they must take advantage of that for events and all, but that was really neat. The young man at the front, he suggested the shrimp and grits bowl and the salmon and grits bowl, and he guided me on how to order them.
Why, is there a special way to order it?
Well, he said, how do you want the shrimp? So I told him grilled. Then he said, you want the cheese, right? So I was like, yeah, cheese. And then I wear hearing aids, so I don't hear too good sometimes. So he said something else, and I was like, no. And he goes, you don't want peppers and onions? So I was like, oh yeah, peppers and onions.
Nice.
And like everybody else, we took food home. It was,
plentiful.
Plentiful, and the price. We had those two, and I tipped, and it was under $20. The seafood was just so fresh, though.
That's wonderful.
Really, I have to say, the shrimp were beautiful. Nice size.
We were thinking that the shrimp and grits at maybe a more fine dining type place, that's a $30, $35 dish.
Easily. Right.
How good it was, the size,
Yeah. Jewell, talk a little bit about the revitalization of that neighborhood.
Well, I grew up in Pompano Beach, so I have seen it go through changes, and for the better. And there were a lot of, old buildings where Bojo's now stands. So what they have done have, greatly improved the area, and they're continuing to do so. So we do appreciate that.
That's wonderful.
For sure.
It definitely seemed like a neighborhood on the up and up, which is great. And it was great. Easy parking. Everyone was really nice.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Jewell, this was your pick. Sum up Bojo's for us.
Well, if you want fresh seafood, fried or grilled, it's wonderful. Go to Bojo's. I go all the time.
Colin?
I don't think you can beat the prices and the generous portions and just how good this simple, no-frills Southern cooking is.
Daniel?
Great food, fresh, wonderful service, and awesome prices.
I love the three of you. You can order up a breakfast feast at Bojo's Seafood Kitchen, located at 731 Hammondville Road in Pompano Beach. They're open for breakfast and lunch every day but Sunday. Reservations are not accepted, and the average price for dinner without drinks is about $15. I've decided to cook everyone's favorite breakfast and side dish. Yeah, cheese grits. Delicious. They're so much easier than you think. Now, the one thing you wouldn't believe is how much liquid to grits. I've got 5 cups to 1 cup of grits, 2.5 cups to 3 cups of milk, 2 to 2.5 cups of water. Put all that in a pot together. And if you want to do like vegetarian with it, or even vegan, you can use alternative style milks. I'm also going to add some butter to the pot to make it even more yummy, and add a little bit of salt, a couple pinches, and a heavy pinch of pepper. I love a lot of black pepper. Once that comes up to almost a boil, what you're going to do is very, very slowly, you're going to trickle in those grits. Never all at once, because the whole thing just goes to the bottom of the pot. So little by little by little, we're going to go in there. And this is pretty much the last time I'm going to use a whisk. You trade that for a rubber spatula or a wooden spoon. And every once in a while, go in there and stir. Now, once it does come to a full boil, you're going to want to bring that right down to nice and low. You want to cook those grits as low and slow as you can. And this is what they look like once they're cooked. And these are just beautifully, beautifully creamy. And for me, a grit is not a grit unless it has a little bit of cheddar in there. So I've decided to grate about 3/4, maybe 80 actually % of a block here. Let's go ahead and add that in and see how these look. If you want to get even thinner and more creamy, you can always add just a little tiny touch of milk to this. And what I love is there's no lumps in here. It's just gorgeous. So I'm letting that cheese just melt in there. I personally don't think they need absolutely anything else. I'm going to go ahead and put them right into this serving bowl. You can serve them with everybody's favorite shrimp, nice roast chicken, or just as they are with some beautiful side vegetables. Enjoy my creamy grits. And finally, VP of Marketing Colin Shallow wants to get the word out about his favorite spot for a funky, one-of-a-kind dining experience. He says each dish is inventive and thoughtfully prepared, but the ambiance is also unique, and the service is personal, offbeat, and fun. That's what he's come to expect at the Jewell Bistro in Lake Worth Beach.
My name is Dak Kerprich, and I'm the owner of Jewell. This was an old Mexican restaurant, and the woman who owned it wanted to leave, so I picked it up. And we've been here for 4 years, and it's a very interesting neighborhood, to say the least. It's 9th and Dixie. You can get anything you want on 9th and Dixie, but it is a destination. This is no holds barred. This is full frontal restaurant. You can walk in and look at something new almost every day. And it's not fake, it's real. Most of this has been donated by customers. In Jewell, the most popular dishes are definitely the burger. We're definitely known for the burger. And the local fish. All fish and seafood is caught off the Florida coast. Everything is local. Jewell is anything you want it to be.
So tell us what you see when you get there.
So you would easily miss it. It's just off Dixie Highway. It's a quiet little stretch of Dixie. You park off on a side street. There's no, it's somewhat urban in that sense. And there's just this blue neon sign that says Jewell, which was what Lake Worth was once known as. And that neighborhood's called Downtown Jewell. And you walk in and it's just a small room with a small bar, maybe 10 tables, booths and tables. And I mean, you're greeted by Jay. His brother's the chef owner. Everything about the experience is personal. He gets to know you. It's a weekly menu, it changes. And every dish has a story.
That's lovely. So what did you have this last time?
So this time we got the sexy lettuces. That's the name of it.
Yes, we got that too.
Did you? That's a great name. Why are they called sexy lettuces? By man.
It was pretty simple salad.
Simple, right. It's just lettuce.
I bet that they get those lettuces somewhere special though.
Oh, there's a
Well,
story.
it was definitely farm to table because he did tell me where the lettuces came from.
So
Yeah,
it's
it was
really about the lettuce.
very fresh.
So
It
what
was.
else did you have other than the sexy lettuces?
Grouper they just brought in that day from Riviera Beach. He did tell us where. And it was only a few portions. He could only get one grouper, I guess, that came with a kale and couscous.
Yeah, Daniel, I see you nodding a lot. You must have
I
had
loved
grouper as well.
Same dish,
How
Were you there the same day?
same day.
Oh,
We were the group
Didn't
of
you
three.
see him? He was right behind you.
you were off to the side.
The group of three and up to the side.
I did see you.
Oh my goodness, you really were
Yes.
there the same day.
Yes, because they don't
That's
have
weird.
the fish every day. So if you had grouper, you had to be there the same day I was there.
Wow, you had a piece of fish from the same fish. That's amazing. I love that. So did it have a sauce to it other than the kale and the couscous? Not
No,
much?
and as a
Okay.
matter of fact, my sister wanted more of the kale and the couscous, and he said no, it was all portioned out for the next grouper. So we couldn't get
Yeah, you
addition.
couldn't take Daniel's couscous and
Nope.
kale. See?
It was for Daniel.
Wow. Did you have anything else?
Pizza, and the pizza, the
Oh, he makes
mozzarella
pizza?
cheese was homemade cheese.
Homemade mozzarella. Yep.
How do you make homemade cheese? I guess we're too modern, but it was amazing. And then I wanted to try the burger, and I asked him, would it taste okay the next day? And he said, yes. I said, pack it up. It didn't make it the next day. We sliced that up. It
You
was
had it all.
amazing.
Now you had the burger as well, right?
So his brother makes it on a cast iron pan that I think he's had for like decades.
So it's well seasoned.
Well seasoned, and they use beef tallow. And it's
Do they
it's
really?
pretty simple otherwise. And I
love
think it's
them.
one of the best burgers I've ever had.
But it's crispy
Yeah.
on the outside.
the
Well, it's
cast
because
iron.
of the tallow. So
Much
what did you
respect.
have, Daniel?
Pizza, plain,
Okay.
with the homemade cheese, the organic flour, really
Really
good.
good.
The grouper, as we said, and I had something that was very unique there, strombano. You familiar with a stromboli?
Yes.
Okay. And they lay out a Cuban sandwich, and they roll it, and they bake it into a strombano.
That's
it's
hilarious
a Cuban
for a
sandwich
Cubano.
meets a stromboli.
That is so creative.
They slice it on the angle. It was delicious.
Tell me a little bit about the decor.
They have pizza boxes all over the place with their names on it. And then the bathroom, they have markers so you could write on the wall. Hang it there. That was very interesting.
What did you think of prices, Jewell?
I think the prices were actually reasonable, especially for the quality of the food. And I think that speaks to it. The flavors just danced in your mouth, if I could just say that.
Colin, tell me a little bit about the shrimp dish.
It was called the brown shrimp cocktail, certain kind of shrimp.
Brown shrimp. Sure, it's
okay.
Gulf shrimp, yeah.
Gulf shrimp,
Fillet.
yeah. And it had chunks of avocado and chunks of shrimp throughout, and then one big.
It's called a Mexican shrimp cocktail. It's the best,
It's so good. And they gave you saltines for it, which,
which is traditional.
yeah. They do have a sandwich. I think it's called a red shrimp salad sandwich. That's one of their best dishes, and they don't always have it. You've got to get that.
That sounds delicious.
And they make their own bread.
Everything's baked
My goodness,
there.
what don't these people do? They make their own cheese. They make their own bread. What's next?
And then with dessert, we ordered the tres leches, which is my favorite dessert when it's done right.
Also?
That was good.
Yeah.
I love that. It was delicious.
Ah.
I think it's the chef's wife that does all the baking.
And we should tell everyone that it's cash only, correct?
Cash only. They do have an ATM.
Well, Colin, Jewell Bistro is your pick. Sum it up for me.
Yeah, every part of your experience I think is personal, from the service to the environment to the food.
Jewell?
The flavors of this restaurant, the food just dance in your mouth. It's very, very good. I told all my family we have to go back.
Daniel?
Family owned, family operated. I think everything's made with love and it's organic and local.
If you're on the hunt for a culinary treasure, you just may find it at Jewell Bistro, located at 830 North Dixie Highway in Lake Worth Beach. Open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday. Reservations are accepted, and the average price for dinner without drinks is about $45. We've had such a wonderful time, and I love this group. I want to thank my guests, Danielle Diaz, Travell McHire, and Colin Shallow. For more about the restaurants and recipes featured in the show, or if you'd like to apply to be a guest reviewer, visit us at checkpleasefl.com, and always find us on Facebook and Instagram. Join us next time for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please South Florida. I'm Michelle Bernstein. Salut, everybody. And I will see you then. Salut. Salut. From very far away. Social distancing. Salut.
Cultural culinary secrets and global flavors. We have a passion for blending ingredients and seasonings from around the world.